Hello and welcome to another installment of Hello Drunk World. So let's get started. If you're new to the stream or you're like, why the fuck am I watching this random guy? This is where I get drunk on a weeknight and try and hack together a piece of code, build an app from scratch, maybe deploy it to production. We'll see how it goes. So in this installment, I'm going to be looking at the Navigator API. That's, I think, built into Chrome / most browsers. I'm not 100% on the can I use docs or the browser support, but we're going to play about with it and see where we go. If you're new to the stream, if you're watching along live, don't forget to say hi in the chat. If you see my eyes darting back and forth, it's because I'm looking in and checking on stuff. First things first, we're going to crack the wine now. I already cracked it open because I got started earlier, but we'll still get our wine ASMR. We're drinking a lovely Merlot, smooth and fruity, from the vineyard, where all wine comes from, I guess. So let's kind of jump right into things. So we're going to be working on a React application because that's what I write all the time and I'm comfortable with. But the main thing we're going to be looking at is the Navigator API. I've seen this being used here and there, and kind of thought about digging in and trying to get all device information through the browser. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to dig through and look into little bits and pieces of this. I've kind of skimmed through it beforehand, and there's a couple of definites I want to be able to check off, being able to show how easy it is to get information out of the device that's connected to your website. So I've put together a quick little checklist. So we want to grab geolocation, we want to look at RAM, we want to look at storage, we want to look at battery. Now, from what I was reading, the battery API has actually been deprecated due to misuse. But when we dig in it, we'll get into that story. The OS running on and their network kind of capabilities. So I think the first place we're going to look through is going to be the actual Navigator, and this is one of these streams where I didn't prepare enough before jumping in. So you'll be learning along the way with me, and we'll figure things out as we go. So let's get stuck into it. So we have all these different APIs that we can tap into, and the browser support is very, very scattered. As far as I know, all of them work in Chrome. Whether they'll work forever is a different case. But for now, let's kind of dig in and play about with it. And we have an empty Create React app up and running. The only thing I've added in is I went off and grabbed a couple of icons that we're probably going to be using for different APIs. So let's just double check this is running in our browser. So we flick over to the terminal. Yep, we've got it running on localhost 3000. So first thing we're going to do is do a little bit of cleanup. And if you know me, you know the way I like my kind of coding style, how I like to build things. Functional components are consts. So we're going to say const app equals, and turn this into an arrow function. And that is okay. Then I want to get rid of all the create React stuff. But I want to keep that center alignment. Yeah, line text center. That's okay. We might have to pull in some flexbox to do some of our styling. And as we're going away, don't be afraid to fire into the questions into the channel, or, well, more importantly, tips, and tell me what I'm doing wrong when it doesn't work. So we should be left with nothing. So we're going to call this I'm going to fire in a little bit of text here. We're going to say hello drunk. Hello drunk Navigator, or drunken Navigator. We'll go drunken Navigator. Drunken is spelled like that, yeah. And if you didn't get the gist from the title, I'm the dyslexic developer, so things will be fat finger typed and spelled wrong all over the place. Drunken Navigator. Oh, they put the color. I like that. I like that background color. So we're just going to steal some of the styles the Create Rack tab has, and min height. Just gotta grab some of these styles. Just we can get it the way we want, and sure, why not do white text as well? And this is all about hacking together and building a quick and dirty application, so we don't care if everything's semantically correct or if it works in every environment. I may try and build this mobile first, because when I tweet about it afterwards, people are going to be looking on their phones. So we'll stick on the emulator and we'll go for a small phone. Build it small, it'll scale. I don't know how to do responsive design, so that's not going to work for us either. But so I guess we want to break these up into sections. So we're going to have a section. Look at me doing semantic HTML. And then we don't want this to be a H1, we'll do a H2. And this is going to be location. So this is going to be all our location information. So we need to be able to pull out location data. So imagine that's going to go in this div. Location data goes here. Okay, so we don't have any location data yet. So how do we use the geolocation out of this? So we just do geo, jump in the API, and annoyingly, so MDM does this kind of thing where it'll take a data link and just tell you the syntax, but it doesn't tell you how to use it. But then there's C also using that should be at the top. So let's go to using the geolocation API. So as well, if you watched this before, I don't read the docs. I skim them and pull out what I need to do. So we can see here we want to do this. They do suggest, checking if geolocation is in the Navigator. What is the support? The only support is not for IE9. I imagine no one joining the stream is using IE9, so we can go ahead and just grab that information. Now, if we just drop this in here as is, it's not going to have a good time, because it'll just render, well, it will render, but we want to, this is technically a side effect, so we want to start using React hooks to enable us to do the different things that we want. So we're going to pull in, use state, and use effect. This is a perfect example. I'm pretty sure I've seen like WesBoss or one of the other kind of well-known JavaScript developers mention this kind of thing where imports are done wrong for IntelliSense. I know I want use state and use effect, but WebStorm doesn't know where I'm pulling them from. What imports should be, it should be import or from React import and then the values that we want, because then it knows from the first part where to go to find what is all exported and what we possibly can use. But that's not a standard in the library, so we can't do that right now. But luckily I know, because what you end up doing is saying this from, no, not React, Google Maps. So from React, and then you'll get your IntelliSense. You can say use state, use effect. Where if we restructured the imports, yes, okay, it's for code completion, developer happiness, but at the same time, it just makes it simpler and easier because the IDE knows where it's pulling from when you're trying to pull it. So we're going to create a little bit of state to hold our location data. So we're going to say location and set location. And this is going to be a use state, not a use effect. And it's going to be null for now because I don't know what the location data looks like. So then the reason we pulled in the effect is we're going to say we want to create an effect that's going to call out, because this fuck off ESLint. We want to call out to something that isn't in our code base, so this is like a side effect. People argue the connection, but that's the way I see it. Is I'm calling out to something that isn't in my app to get information, so it's a side effect. So in here we're going to say get and set location data. So I don't know what this actually returns. Well, okay, well it's kind of telling me position, but I want to show the fact that you can use the browser and the browser developer tools to figure a lot of this out. So we're gonna pull up our browser dev tools, take off emulation for now, and then we're going to say just copy and paste this in and run it to see what it does. Actually, before I forget, before I do that, I need to emulate my location because I don't want it actually pulling back my actual geolocation data. And you can do that somehow. So we go through, it's going to be emulation, network conditions, rendering, nope. Sensors, nope. Okay, so Chrome. So overriding geolocation. Command Shift P, open the command menu. So okay, so sensors. So we jump back to our example and we're going to go more. We're going to go to sensors and location. We're going to override and we're going to say, let's go to Mountain View. Pretend like I work in Google or one of those big companies. I find it hilarious that that is one of the options. So now if we call this, okay, site wants to get a location, we're going to allow. Do something that's not defined, which I guess makes sense. So we're going to say console.log position, because I want to see all the data that we get. We can ignore that line. So we get back our geolocation data. So the example they had, they were looking at position dot chords or coordinates. I'm going to say coordinates, even though it's chords. And our coordinates do match. Our longitude and latitude match what I've spoofed. We get speed. I guess if you were moving, that could track. Like if you were building like a running app for a mobile phone device, that would be kind of cool. That you get speed. You get altitude. So if you were flying, I guess. Altitude accuracy, heading is going to give you your whether you're going north, west, east, or south, which is very, very cool. Because I'm on a stationary laptop, it's probably never going to have those kind of values. But if you're on a mobile device, it would potentially work. And can you spoof them? You can spoof orientation. It's not really what we want though. But all I really care about is longitude and latitude, because people want to know where they are, even though they know where they are. So we know we can grab that data. So now we know that our coordinates has a latitude and a longitude. It's latitude and longitude in that order, yeah. So initially, that's going to be nothing until we fetch it. So null works here. Null works fine. So what we can do is we can grab this code, drop it into our use effect, and then instead of console.log, and here as well we can do some interesting stuff. So here we could say, it's not going to autocomplete for me. So we can grab latitude. Oh no, that comes from coordinates. Deconstructing like this is never recommended, but I want to prove that I can do it. So it's going to be coords, and then an object, and then latitude and longitude. And then we're going to say set location, and then we can just now pass in latitude and longitude. I might shorten them to lat and long because I don't have to type them out every time, but it should be okay. So now we're able to fetch and set our location data, but we're not actually doing anything with it yet. So let's print them out quick and dirty here. So by default, they won't exist. So we have to say if location, then do something. Else, do nothing, which is an empty string. But then I guess we could shorten this down to an ampersand, so this and this. So then I kind of want to break them out into a little bit kind of stylized, play with the kind of the values. So we're going to say, create another div because semantic HTML. And we're going to say, I'm going to be copy and pasting these because there's no way in hell I'm going to remember how to spell latitude or longitude. So we create a div and we can say latitude. I'm writing this as a span now because I'm going to probably put some color into it. Location dot latitude. Duplicate that and grab longitude. And we're going to say longitude, location dot longitude. So let's save this and it should auto refresh. It's already asking for our location, which is good. So we allow that. That was slow, but it worked, I guess. No one's running on a small device. We're going to go for medium mobile. So I guess that works, looks nice. I guess we could probably do something else. So I'm going to wrap these in more spans because again, semantic HTML doesn't exist. Okay, and it's going off the edge of the screen. I hate this. Like I code off this. Is it 80 characters or 180, 120 characters wide? They're now in separate spans, which means nothing. But if we give this a class name, we'll say location dash data. Go to our app CSS. Display flex direction column. Let's see if that makes a change. Okay, it looks a little bit better. Yeah, okay. Shorten it down. So that's kind of cool. That's nice. Like we pulled location data. Like that took 2 seconds to do. But I kind of want to do something better with that. I want to say like, you know, how do I build a Google Maps link? So Google Maps link with coordinates. I enter coordinates in Google Maps, find location, create Google Maps links based on coordinates. That's what we're looking for. So we can generate a link from this then. So now this could be clickable. I'm hesitant to make this a href, but it needs to be clickable. It needs to be a link. So we're going to say make it an a tag, and we're going to say href equals, and then I guess we can do a template string, and based on that, it's lat and long. That's why I always found weird that, yeah, lat and long. So using a template of string, we can pull in location dot lat, and then for this, we can pull in location dot longitude. Right, because this is a link and I haven't styled links, it's going to come with this awful blue. And I want this to open a new tab. So target underscore blank. So now this will open up in a new link. It should take you to Google Maps with the longitude and latitude. And it didn't. Let's see, right. If I grab a link to something, like Glenarth Park. No, I need to just do it like a dot. And that just copies it. So when this is a random location, yes, I've got a pin here. So it has slash maps. Okay, so I need to maybe get rid of place. And make sure this is refreshed. That's also not giving back what fake thing I put in. Because I remember it being like 30 something. Sensors, override, white view. Okay, so let's open this. At. So we stick an at in. That's what's missing. So we need an at symbol here. Okay, so let's refresh this, close out those other maps tabs, and when we click on this, it doesn't take us there again. Oh, it's not picking up my W coordinates. Or it's just ignoring them. I thought this would have been easier. No, actually you can use this URL. So question mark, I'm assuming that's longitude latitude. So let's try this out as well. I don't want that whole link, but we can fix that up. This is one of the things where we're debugging, and I really could do with some developers on the stream watching. So save this, go back. We're still spoofing, refresh, still spoofing. Open a new tab. There we go. Okay, so now we've got it. Like, clicking that link, it opens up. How's it going, Jet Maddox? You're too late, dude. I figured it out. I figured out what the link was. It wasn't obvious. Like, Google Maps doesn't make it obvious that is it. But then there's also, well, I guess it's not Google Maps. It's Stack Overflow's telling me every other way that I can possibly do it. So we now have a clickable map link. Looks a little bit shady. We could probably do something better styling wise with it. Let's play about the styling. First, let's play about the styling of the actual A tag. I hate default tags, so we're going to say color, not white. So Jetmatics, are you a JavaScript developer yourself, or what do you work on? So then we want to change the font size, and we're going to go for 14 pixels. Probably make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, 34. And view in your front end. Nice. I've always just been I'm using React for the last, I don't know, gone 4 years maybe. I just got so used to it. I do want to dig more into Vue. I've played about with Svelte recently, which is, and I've seen that they released Svelte Kit, which is going to be another stream at some point. I want to dig more into that kind of stuff. I kind of want to push myself out of the comfort zone of React, But when it comes to like building, crap, novelty apps like this, React is my go-to. Like kind of, I can pick it up and run. But I do want to branch out a little bit more. Vue is definitely up there. I know Vue brought in like a hooks-like kind of pattern recently, so that potentially has got some benefits in it. And we're going to bump up font weight as well. And take off our text decoration. Okay, that looks a little bit better. It doesn't look like a link, which is kind of annoying, but I'm going to maybe get like a little map icon and stick that in, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, good points on the ecosystem and the community. It's funny, I seen a tweet recently, and people shit on every JavaScript framework. React people shit on everything else, and everyone else shits on React, and everyone shits on Angular. And they made a good point about how React isn't the best framework, but it's the most popular because it has a good community, which has meant that React isn't really a framework. It's a collection of communities who have built frameworks out of React. I find that really interesting, that it's less about the core framework itself. It's the fact that like I can Google search React space whatever I need, and someone's probably built it, or someone's even built a wrapper around it. Because the community is just so heavy, and like people hate the fact that React is owned by Facebook and all these kind of things, but it's it's such a rich community. Definitely something you should check out. Jet is, I think it's Honeypot have a YouTube channel. Honeypot. Yeah, you should check out the Vue documentary. I'm not going to play because I'll get copyright striked for the background music. But this documentary is really cool, and it kind of talks through like the beginnings and like the whole life of like the Vue framework and the guy who created it, Evan You. And it's a very cool, very interesting documentary. I'll fire that into the chat. Actually, I rarely use the chat myself, but. Helpful if I was on the right page to actually do anything. So, right, we grabbed the styles. Let's see, is it looking okay? Yep, looking fine. Let's grab map icon. I grabbed some random icons from a random site earlier, and they seem to work okay. I'm going to grab like a little map pin icon so you can like tap on that and that becomes part of it. So we need, the only thing is we need a free icon, because I don't want to sign up for an account or pay for something, because paying people for the content is wrong. But obviously no, that's not right. Nope. Let's change our search to be map icon free. That kind of looks nice. I want the PNG. Is that actually done? Yeah, okay, that's cool. That's done. So I'm going to grab that up and drop it in to the folder. Flick this over on another screen and drop that into our source directory. So we should now have our map in here. Yep, map PNG. So let's drop our map icon in as well. So we've got our location data. I guess our map icon should be part of our link. So image source, we'll leave it blank for now. Put an alt on it, ALT, map icon, and then we need to import our map icon at the top so we can use it. So import map icon from /map png. Yep, that's it. And we'll drop this into the source of our image. And let's see if this looks anyway decent. Obviously it's not going to be anyway decent, but we can fix the styles of this. So we're going to say width 50%, 50 VW. That's not right. Okay, 50. Maybe bring that down a little bit. Yeah, 25 looks nice. No, we need to center this as well. So everything inside this needs to be centered. So the only way I know to center stuff, and this is like, I'm a developer, I'm a web developer, but, I'm a developer, I'm not a web developer. I know nothing about styling or rearranging stuff. So if in doubt, flex it out. Display, flex, direction, column, align items, center. Yep, okay, that works. So we can style our A tag. So we know location data is what we're targeting. Save. Oh shit, save that. Yeah, okay, so now clicking this, that'll take us to Mountain View. Or expose my location as has been doing the whole way through this. Okay, cool. So we can go to our checklist if I can find it. We can check off geolocation. So we've been able to pull in geolocation, render that geolocation, make a clickable link, open a new tab with Google Maps. Imagine if you did this on a mobile device, it would probably, pick up the fact that you're going to Google Maps and try and open up in the Maps app on your phone, which would be kind of cool. So this is great. We still have RAM, storage, battery, OS to pull in as well. So this file is going to get quite large. So I'm actually going to break this out. Not pull up that screen. I'm going to break this out into a couple of different folders. Not folder, but different like React components. So we're going to create a new component and we're going to call this geo. So we can then say const geo equals a new component, and then we can pull out whatever it had in its section. So the sections are all going to be each of our components. So we'll return this out, and we're going to have to pass actually no, we're not going to pass processing because each of those are going to be entrusted with doing its own data finding or gathering, whatever you could call it. So will autocomplete save me? Yep, import React production. No. Just React and use effect. Nope, that's not what I wanted. WebStorm imports are not perfect, but they do the job. So then we can just say export default geo, and now we can get rid of this block of code. And we can get rid of this block of JSX. And we can just say geo. We can get rid of any unused imports, which really cleans up our main file. And our product should stay the same. We lost our styles though, which is interesting. We still have app.css. And it's still doing location data. And location data is still a class name. What's this complaining about? No, okay, that's fine. It's just a security warning. So if we inspect location data image, I didn't actually apply the styles to the image. That's what it is. I did them in the developer tools, not in the CSS. So we can say width 25 VW Pretty sure it was. And come on, refresh. So this is why I don't do CSS. It's missing a bracket. What are we missing? Because I'm not writing Sass, I can't do nested code, that's why. Yeah, okay, so that's looking a little better. So I think we need to make the definition between our H1s and our H2s a little bit bigger. Our H1 is 2EM, which is based off the main of our body, I assume, or the document. But there's no body set, so font size, I guess, what, 14 pixels? Does EM responsibly come from the body, or does it take from wherever it belongs? Fuck it, they'll do for now. We don't care. Right, next one we'll do is we're going to jump onto our RAM. We want to pull the RAM that the machine has. So in that case, we need to create a RAM component. So again, create a new file. And yep, so RAM. Stick their sections. So we'll fire this out, export, default, RAM, pull this in as a component. And that's all good. So nothing RAM here, nothing else will show up. So RAM is under a different section. Yes, device memory. So we need to have a look at how to use the device memory API. I think it literally is just saying RAM equals navigator.device memory. So if we jump back into here and use our dev tools, 8. Yeah, this machine has 8 gigs of RAM. That was kind of a really easy one to do. So we still can use set timeout, not set timeout, set state. But I guess we could go without. Because, well, we're always calling that API. I think we're all okay to go without, so we don't always have to do it. So we can say, I have an icon for this, so we're going to create a div again, and then we're going to create a span, we're going to say RAM, and navigator.device memory, and then we're going to do another image, source, alt, RAM icon. We'll have to import our RAM icon as well. So we're going to say import RAM icon from, and I'm pretty sure it is named correctly. Yep, ram.svg. RAM icon is what we need. And it's huge, obviously, again. So I wonder, can we apply the same style to each of the icons, which might be a little bit more sustainable. So grab this and say width 25 VW. Yeah, we could probably I think we could probably pull that off. So let's jump back into our CSS, and instead of location data image, it's just going to be image. So apply to all images, which looks good. And I guess we have this like similar pattern of a section having flexbox in it. So this class name, and we're going to say device-info. And then this doesn't need to be a div anymore. And we can say device info is going to grab that flexbox. styling. I guess we can remove it from here. And the text color, we can actually just grab all this. Except for the text decoration, because that only applies to links, and a line item center as well. We need to grab that too. So now we need to put device info on our geo component as well. So there's a section. No, we don't want to do it on the section itself. Actually, I forgot each section has a title. So it's going to go there. But then that's inside of the link as well, which gets really messy. So maybe just dirty styling, dirty hacky styling. Put in twice. We'll see how it goes. It looks huge. Location. Fucking it works. It works. Yes, we need our H2 RAM. So this actually just becomes a span with the RAM value inside. And we get our icon 8. And we can, I think we can just make an assumption that it's gigs, which is GB, as far as I remember. Yeah, 8 gigabits. And there's nothing we can do to click on this. So okay, wait, we've got a RAM out. We've got a RAM out. So what's next on our checklist? Storage. So we want to like get the device storage, how much memory they have left in their machine for us to store all of our things. I can tell the wine is kicking in at this point, which needs refilled. So if we want to grab the device's storage, there's another API that we can use for it in here. We need to skim through to remember what it is. I think it's device memory. Yeah, they went device memory in gigabits. The value is approximately given round the nearest 2 divided by blah 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 blah. We don't care. We don't read docs. We don't read docs. Oh no, device memory is RAM. Yeah, we were looking at that page already. It's not device memory. There is another thing that holds like the device storage. Yes, obviously it's adequately named storage. And again, it's not an asynchronous API, so we don't need to really wrap this in a effect. We could probably duplicate this component. So let's say new component. I'm going to say storage store storh. Just copy and paste this component in, and instead of RAM icon, it's going to be storage icon. I think I saved this as hard drive. Yep, and this is going to be storage. I'm going to just copy and paste for simplicity's sake. Storage icon, and instead of device, it's going to be device storage. We don't know if it's in gigabits, so do we have an example? Storage object, I think it returns it in bytes. Returns the singleton storage object using management systems. So what does our storage manager object look like? So it now has some functions which return promises. So we're back into our asynchronous use effect world. So we want to trigger this estimate. So we need to create a storage manager first, or do we have a storage manager? If I trigger this in our console, what will I get? let's say navigator dot storage dot estimate. That's going to take a while. It's not going to print out. So I know, what does estimate gives? Estimate gives us a promise, so we can say dot then result console dot log result. So that gives us a quota, so we can use this. Because this is asynchronous, we're going to have to use some React state. So we're going to do import use state and use effect from React. And we'll create our state. So we're going to say const, and we're going to say, I like using the word hard drive. Back in the days of hard drives, spinning disks, all kind of thing. I really like hard drives. So hard drive and set hard drive is use state, and it's going to be null by default because we don't know what the value is. Bring this in a little bit, and then we're going to say use effect, pass it our effect function, and we're going to call this. So when we get our results, we're going to console log our results. And we know it gives us quota. What is quota in? Is quota we retain the usage estimate and present the percentage of storage capacity currently used to the user. Usage and quota. So what was our usage and quota? Usage 0, quota that. It seems like we have a lot of storage. Too much, maybe. Currently using about 0% of my further storage, which makes me think it isn't storage as in the sense of like the hard drive storage, which I kind of want to make it out to be. But I like the idea of like that. That's the potential of like the hard drive quota. Or this is the, this is the amount of storage, potentially like local storage you have, the browser will hold for that site. You can still make it a hard drive. We're going to rip off this equation because I kind of like that as an idea. So in here we're going to say set hard drive to be that, and that is going to be a percentage. So we need to pull that off our value. I could probably put this on a new line to make it more readable. Don't forget the semicolon. And then we can say hard drive, %, hard drive, and go hard drive. Percentage, yes. So let's see what this looks like. But we're not actually using this yet, so nothing will happen. So we needed to export the right name, and then we need to go back into our main app and add this in as a component. Save this. Oh, cannot read property usage of undefined. Result estimate usage. Oh, what's going on here? What are we missing? What are we missing? Let's refresh this and see. Got a fail. Result.estimate.usage. result.estimate.quota. Cannot read property usage of undefined. Come on, Jet, you can help. It's not even breaking before it. Oh, okay, right, breaks there. So we have result. Okay, they called it. So for us, it's just result.usage, result.quota. Save this. Play. Let it refresh again. Storage. Is it used? It doesn't really make a lot of sense. So how do we use the storage? Let's like go into like local storage. We go into local storage and maybe like add some things to local storage. Can we add from here? Let's say local storage dot. What is the API for local storage? Window dot local storage dot set item. And instead of set item, we're going to say array dot from. How do you create a new array with multiple things? New array of length. Yeah, because I want to use the fill. This will all make sense in a second. So I'm going to say array 1000 dot fill with test dot join on a dot. So now our local storage has something in it. I wonder if that's what's equating to our storage. Maybe not. Maybe I should read the docs. Interesting. So ours is 0. I wonder if I can dump out this as well. Let's refresh this. Our quota isn't 0. Our usage isn't 0. Usage details, index DB. Okay, so this is the actual usage on the domain. I'm assuming that's bytes. And that's doing it to fix 2. I'm going to get rid of the fix 2 just because I want to like have something on there because people are going to have nothing used on this site. Okay, well that's maybe too much. When I say fixed, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, go to 8. Yeah, we get something. It shows like you're using something on this. Okay, so we can take another thing off our list. We're doing well. We're hitting the hour mark. So battery, this is the controversial one. And the reason this is controversial is apparently Uber were abusing this by saying like by detecting people's battery, and if their battery was really low, they would increase the price of fares to put a bit of a kind of fright into the user to say like, if you don't book a taxi now, you might run out of battery and you're never going to get home. And then it became a whole bit of fucking drama and people were pissed. So now they've ripped it out of every browser and it's no longer an API that can be used, which kind of sucks because it's a fun API. Like, I want to know. Well, no, it's malicious. It's malicious. So again, we're going to create a new component. Yeah, it's scummy. Like, but I wonder if there's like legitimate edge cases for a mobile site or mobile app knowing your battery percentage. Potentially, what I can think of is you have an application that can get really heavy CPU intensive cycles at some points. If you know your user is below 25%, then you can reduce back your heavy intensive work and potentially turn off certain polling and all this kind of things that would help drain the battery, return reduced images or no images, and help save them a bit of battery power by using your application. But because this was just abused, and I guess if someone's going to do it that way, it's going to do it in a lot more worse ways. But it kind of sucks that someone ruined it for everyone else. Jet makes a good point. Like, how often is that really necessary? Yeah, like if something's draining your battery, you're just going to stop using the app, or if you're low percent battery, the application you're using should be optimized enough, and you shouldn't be maybe wasting too much time on it. But it sucks that they took away a good API. So right, we're going to create our battery component. We're going to be doing similar thing again. This is an asynchronous API, so we've got our battery, BA. Yeah, you make a good point, but we've millions of ways to make the data integrate a bit better. Yeah, the thing that sucks is when we have something, we use it for bad instead of good, which then means we can't have the good anymore. And it kind of is just that battery API could have been used for good. It was abused. Now it had to be taken away. Other things could be potentially the same. Yeah, I think actually one of probably the more important things at the minute is if someone's bandwidth is low, which we're hopefully going to get onto the network section in a minute. But if someone has low bandwidth, then you should be changing your site based on that, instead of if someone... What's going on? Battery, why is this complaining? Battery icon. And I think there's better ways to be optimizing sites based on a user's device and their capability, compared to grabbing the battery percentage and then maliciously using it. The network one, which we're hopefully, I think we're going to be on to that next. Well, we might skip OS because it gives a fuck about that, but we're going to jump on the network after this, after we finish battery, and we kind of talk about different ideas around that. So set battery, it's going to be null by default. And again, we need to change this to set battery. It's annoyingly using this that I know we can never actually use it in the real world, but it's still fun. Let's go back. Battery, yeah, although I was where I am. So let's grab this. Fire into here. Battery is charging. I didn't even read the docs. You can tell you if the battery is charging. To tell you the percentage to the battery left. I kind of want to, I want to grab what this is and log it out. In vain, but still. Battery icon. Let's grab our alt text. Fire that in, and we'll comment that out because we're not going to use that yet. Let's jump back into our product. Refresh. Oh, we're not using this yet, so we need to go under app. Pull in battery. So the battery manager again gives us a couple of different things. It tells us if we're charging, or how long, our charge time. I imagine that's going to be time until you're fully charged. Or discharge time, infinity, because I'm on a charger. I wonder if I disconnect my charger and refresh the page, will that change? Okay, no, it changes it differently. Charge time infinity, discharge time infinity. They probably haven't given this thing a lot of love because it's going out of sync. But we can say like charging true or false. So so we're going to rename this. Nope. Shift F6. Is charging, and rename this to set is charging. So set it null by default, we don't know yet, and then we're going to say set is charging battery dot charging. Is that right? Yep, everything's okay. So then we can say is charging but is charging is null by default. So if it's charging is true, then we say is charging equals null. Say dot 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 loading else. I probably should wrap the whole thing in a span instead. So we'll wrap the whole thing in a span without fucking it up. Not charging. That's the wrong way around. The brackets should be inside it. We can just do that now. Pull the brackets in because we're using JSX. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, charging. If I disconnect my charger and I refresh this page, not charging. So yeah, we can tell if it's charging or not charging. It's interesting for now. And then if I check that off our list, we're going to skip OS. We're going to jump straight into network because that's got some more interesting implications. So connection, yes, connection provides you the network information. I get a drink. So what does our network information look like? Downlink max, effective type, RTT, save data, all this kind of stuff. Where's an example? How do we call the API? I think we just say navigator.connection. Okay, yeah, navigator connection. It's nice because it just gives us what we have. So we get a downlink. And what is it? What is the downlink? Returns the effective bandwidth estimate in megabits per second, rounded in there's multiple 25 kilobits per second. So that's our speed of megabits down. So it's saying 10. That's not 10. I'm not 10 down. I'm pretty sure I'm more. Or maybe, fuck me. What is my Wi-Fi network? The minute. Yeah, I'm on the good one. Because I'm streaming. It's probably throttling the shit into my network. So we've got our estimated down. Our downlink max. In terms of maximum downlink speed in megabits per second. The underlying connection technology. Doesn't have that for us. Our effective type 4G. Now I was reading about this before. Like it picks up most modern connections as 4G, but I guess we can spiff our network connection. So if I change our throttle to say slow 3G, and run the same again. Is it gonna? So it's coming up as like a 2D network. So this is an interesting one where you can detect your user's speed capabilities and determine whether to load high res or low res images, whether to load in additional frameworks or maybe go Node.js at all, and like kind of pick up on these kind of things where you can say like, let's not ship all this shit down to a slow connection that's going to take a long time or is going to use up a lot of their bandwidth. Like, I'm in the UK, and the average phone plan has like 5 gigs a month that you can use. Most people are sitting on Wi-Fi at home or work or wherever, but some places like they're charged a rate based on their megabits, and there's no plans of like how many allowance you have a month. So being able to like harness this kind of information is very useful. What is RTT? RTT returns the estimated round trip times of current connection. So that's print out, I guess. Downlink I don't like because, well, it's not accurate. At 1.4, if I take off my network throttle and run that again, it still comes down to 10. Now it says it rounds it off, so I guess that's 10 megabits. Yeah, fuck it, we'll throw it in. So again, let's copy paste or copy pasta this component and the new one, and we're going to call it network. And I think I have a network icon. Yep, networking, and this is going to be the network component. Our network icon, and then this is synchronous, so we don't need state or anything. So we can just pull this in at the start. So we're going to say const. We can pull these values out. So we're going to say downlink effective type. And do we want anything else? Saved all has always been falseness, so I don't think it's really that important. And that's going to be navigator.network. Oh, no, connection. Copy paste. So we're going to say estimated speed Mbps stimulated. Oh. Estimated speed. Yep. And grab our last one, which is going to be our I say connection type. So I think like 4G is a band, but it's like your connection type. And we're going to say effective type. Save this. Go back to our app and add in network. Save. And now we have, oh, I forgot to change. That should be network. Okay, estimated speed. Ooh, we got 0 megabits. Did I miss something in here? Downlink. Not a capital L. So that's a standard, isn't it? Okay, yeah, we got some useful information. Now we've kind of built up this little dashboard. And if I turn, well, this test our responsiveness. Yeah, it's all right. So we've kind of got like our estimated kind of, device information, our location, our RAM, the storage on the actual site, not the storage of the device, whether it's charging or not, and our network information. The bit at the bottom is a little bit empty, so I'm going to just be an idiot and do slash VR. Why? Stop. Oh, it's a bit of a shit show, right? If I VR slash, yeah. It's stats and padding. Well, I need touch CSS. Yeah, probably do a little bit more of that. Yeah, that's a really bad way to do it, but don't. There's a. No, just don't do it. Yeah, that was kind of cool. Like, we got the play around with the Navigator, figure out what the different APIs are, which ones are synchronous, asynchronous, which ones we can tap into, which ones are like deprecated, which ones are actually useful for real world scenarios, and some not real world scenarios. So I think we had fun. Hopefully learned some things. Thanks for Jet joining the chat and getting talking away to everyone. Hope to see you all in some following streams. I've got some other interesting ones coming up. Got Svelte Kit on the plans. I've got some other different frameworks and libraries I want to play with. I'm looking for some different fun ideas, but really good fun.